We want to inspire all of you.
All kinds of acting, theater. It's going to be a great couple of semesters.
Once in a lifetime.
They are your friends. They are my family.
Welcome to our third edition of We Speak. I am Professor Jose Maldonado, and I'm very happy that you could join us today. You are going to hear stories of resilience and overcoming from Oxnard College students who, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, were able to continue and persevere and get to their goals. We hope you enjoy our show. Thank you.
Greetings. As I recall, this is how my journey in life began. When I was going to elementary, I recall when kids used to make fun of me and bully me when I didn't have the answers to some of the questions that the teacher used to say. Used to call me dummy, retarded and stuff. And I kept that inside of me, believing that. It was a hard struggle in elementary, but I graduated. I then went to junior high after I ditched a whole half a year, causing my family to move out. When they did, it was easy for me to fit in with the crowd that was about not going to school, not caring about it. I became a manipulator. The students that had class before I did, I would ask them or kind of threaten them to leave the answers there in the book for me and stuff like that. In my junior high, I barely graduated with a D. I then went to just summer school at high school for my general ed. But during all that time, I forgot to mention that I became an addict, an alcoholic. And my thing was to work to support my habit. I didn't care what the dreams of my parents were for me, as being a graduated from high school. I became very disobedient. I lived a very dysfunctional lifestyle. I didn't care about myself. The thoughts of killing myself were there. I never used drugs. I consumed them. I abused them. When I used to drink, I wanted to get drunk to get rid of this and everything else. Unfortunately, that cost me 3 decades of incarceration. When I went in there one day, I had a spiritual awakening when I told myself, hey, you're not a dummy. You're not a dumb Mexican, man. You can earn your GED. You don't have to pay somebody $10 to do it. If anything, at least give that to your parents. So I remember there was a teacher in the literacy lab, her name was Miss Deborah Wright. And you know what? She gave me the time and day. I was studying on the computer, the pre-GED test and all the other ones that I had to take. And after about a month and a half to 2 months, I went to go take the GED test. I failed it by 1 point, but I didn't get disappointed. She told me that we had to work on the lowest grade, which is literature and arts. And after a month of doing that, I went and I did it. And I thought I'd get the answer within a month. The next day in the morning, she was waiting for me to congratulate me because I got it. And I couldn't wait to get my certificate from Sacramento with the little card, with the little grades and everything to show them. When I did receive it, I was able to take it out to the visiting room and give it to my parents. I'll never forget that expression, that hope that they had. Nonetheless, I failed to pursue an education career while I was in there, but I did learn a lot about myself by doing multiple self-help. When I got out after 33 years, I went to a transitional home right here in Lemonwood, where my director, Jose Moreno, and a mentor of mine named John Cesario challenged me by coming to Oxnard and say, since you know all this self-help, why don't you go after an ADS certificate? Well, when I came to Oxnard, it's like I came to another institution, except these people were not my enemies. The fears, my insecurities about my schooling arose once again in me. But you know what? When I met David Lopez, Gloria Lopez, when I met Ms. Z, when I met Linda, These counselors, they made me feel so at ease, so welcome, that when I enrolled, I couldn't wait until the summer. That's how I started. And the summer of 2018, when I did, I remember I was doing English 97 with Miss Karen Sutton. And I remember there was this girl that got up as I was sitting by myself at the corner, and she introduced herself to the whole class. And I thought, man, what a classy girl this is, man. The next thing you know, I felt the atmosphere was all about, hey, we're just here for summer school to get this. And you know what? I felt comfortable with these guys, letting them know about my background, about my education. And I asked them, are you guys willing to help me? I don't want the answers. I just want to understand the formula. And sure enough, they did. As of this day, I'm proud to say that I am an honor student at Oxnard College. I plan on graduating with the AAS here. I plan on going to a university and get my BA. These challenges, I take them wholeheartedly and open, because I learned that education is the best thing. I don't want a job, I want a career. I already work. I want to be more successful. I know what I'm good at. I know I'm good as a drug and alcohol counselor already. But I think there's more than that in life than just that. But I'll still be doing that. I've come on this journey since 2017. I have met nothing but beautiful, respectful persons in my path of life and this college that are willing to give me the time and effort to do this. With that, I leave you and I wish you all the very best in your future. Thank you.
In 2010, I got kicked out of Oxnard College. And that was the best thing that has ever happened to me. Sure, at the time, it didn't seem like it. At the time, I was super bummed. Back then, I was going through a lot. My anxiety was peaking. I was having daily panic attacks. Back then, I didn't even understand what I was going through. I didn't know that that was anxiety. I didn't know that I had an anxiety disorder. And I surely didn't understand that it stemmed a lot from the fact that I was and I am a rape and sexual assault survivor. Back then, everything that I felt, everything that I went through, I kept it inside. All of that anger, all of that emotion, all of that trauma, I internalized it. I also grew up in a hard environment. I grew up being told that I had to be tough, I had to be strong. And I internalized that as well. I felt that being weak was something that I could not be. I felt like vulnerability was pathetic. And I also felt that all of the problems that I went through, I had to solve on my own. That's why I didn't tell anybody what happened to me. That's why I didn't tell anybody what was done to me. That's why I didn't tell anybody when my mental health was spiraling, so much so that it started affecting my grades, and eventually I got kicked out. And you can bet that I didn't tell anybody that I got kicked out of Oxnard College. I kept waking up every morning, getting ready, eating breakfast, and walking out that door. But once I would get down here to Bard and Rose, I would just keep walking. And I'd keep walking past the cemetery on Pleasant Valley with its crumbling headstones. And I would walk into the fields down at Wanimi Road. And I would stay there for hours, isolated. Because that's something else that I did. I isolated myself. I removed myself because I didn't want to be a burden. Because back then, that's all I thought I was. Now, I've always considered myself an angry brown girl, even before my internalized anger, trauma issues in my early 20s. I remember back in grade school, I was calling out abusive teachers. I was criticizing authority. I was questioning why everything that we learned was so Eurocentric. Terms like girl power and fight the system were in my vocabulary at age 11. I think this is probably why I was led to join up with a group called Todo Poder al Pueblo in 2012 after I got kicked out of Oxnard College. And Todo Poder was a local group that was very vocal against social injustice and oppression. And it was with them that I started tiptoeing out of my shell, that I started opening up to people, that I started being vulnerable without realizing it. And a moment that really changed me was the first time I ever did public speaking. First time. It was at a city council meeting in front of the mayor, in front of the city council people, in front of the police chief, in front of 50 to 60 strangers that I didn't know. And we were talking about police brutality, something that really fills me with passion, something that I'm against, something that gets me angry and riled up. So I stood up there and I spoke from the heart. I was vulnerable in front of other people that I didn't know. And I remember that at the end, everyone started clapping. And the mayor was red in the face and he told everyone to stop because I wasn't allowed. And that just made everyone clap even harder. But what really got me was that after that, people came up to me and they told me, I feel you. I feel what you said. And while that, as simple as it might sound, to someone who has spent almost all her life isolating herself because she thought that she could never identify with people, she could never connect with people, to hear that I connected, that others felt the way that I did, that was something else. And another thing that changed me was I started working with kids. And I saw kids as young as 6 and 7 going through the same things that I had gone through. And that's when I realized that some of these cycles that we go through, cycles of oppression and cycles of violence, that we need to break them. So I asked, how could I help? How could I break this? And I realized, well, if they're going through the same things that I'm going through, if they're facing the same problems I have, then I need to ask for help. And all of a sudden, asking for help wasn't a weakness, but a necessity, because I realized that in order to help other people, I had to help myself first. So I went back to Oxnard College in 2018. And I took this newfound confidence and knowledge, and I asked for help. I asked professors, I asked counselors, I asked students, I connected with other people, I identified with other people, I reached out. Not so much for myself, but so that I can take this knowledge and give it back to other people so that I could help other people. And now, 13 years, almost to the day that I set foot at Oxnard College, I'm set to graduate in 3 weeks with 2 diplomas. And I just found out that I got accepted into UCLA. And this was all because I realized that isolating myself was the worst possible mistake I could make, because in order to help others, I had to help myself, because we're all interconnected and interwoven. And to help me means that I can help you, and that you later on can help someone else. Thank you.
The attraction when I first started doing drugs, it was just, being a teenager. My ex-husband, he got me introduced to meth, and it was like, I can't believe it, he's having me do this, but hey, okay, why not? And then, just kept happening. There was a lot of views, a lot of put downs. I didn't feel like my kids had a strong mom. I'm putting my kids through all this stuff. I felt like they would be better off without me being here. I tried committing suicide a couple of times for the same reason that I didn't want to live anymore. I did tell my older brother that I needed help. That's why I'm so thankful for Viavanta and Dieter Hirsch, because I didn't just stop doing drugs because of the program. I got educated of the disease of addiction and mental health. My daughter tells me how happy I am, how different I am. And it's because I love me now.
We want our kids to know that, yeah.
that I never gave up.
Because I didn't give up, I stand here today to share my story with you. I have 4 seasons that I go through to get where I'm at. October 20th, 2014 is my clean date, and the day that I walked into Didi Hirsch Via Vanta, a place for mothers with children who are dealing with mental illness and substance abuse. I was there for a year, and this is the place where I got my soul back and learned who I was. I learned how to like myself, how to respect myself, how to love myself, how to be in a healthy relationship with myself and with anyone who comes along my way, especially with my 4 elements. My daughter Imani, my faith, my daughter Khalifa, my determination, my son Malik, my courage, and my daughter Nasia, my wisdom. This is a place where I had to surrender on bended knees and forgive myself for all the wrongdoings that I've done to everyone, including myself. This is the place where I got educated of the disease of addiction, domestic violence, a child being molested, and being raped as an adult. And where I learned the difference of my mental illness, depression, baby blues, and cutting. I was there for a year, and I graduated from that program, and that's where I learned that I wanted to help other women who were in my shoes. I did not get my children back when I left that place, but I didn't give up. I lost my children to CPS, and they were with their father. In February of 2018 is when my kids came knocking on my door, and when I got my kids back. My kids came to a healthy mom, and they didn't even know what type of mom I was going to be, because all they knew was the one who I was before, right? Angry, mad, deranged, weak, not no more. Through the program of different multiple organizations, Interface, Ventura County Behavioral Health, Wraparound, and CPS, we were able to become a family that is healthy, that communicates with each other, a family that is able to express your feelings. If you're angry, if you're pissed off, if you're happy, if you're sad, we communicate. And there's a lot of beauty to communication. During this process, I got my kids back in CPS for the second time. The CPS worker, which I thank till this day, suggested for me to go back to school. I knew I wanted to become an alcohol and drug counselor. So I went to Ventura College. They didn't have the program. They said Oxnard does, and I went. When I went over there, I was still kind of nervous, only because I already knew my background when it came to school. I started college in '98, and we're in 2018, and there has not been one time that I was able to finish a semester. I didn't think that they were going to let me in. But when I came to the orientation, the counselor there, his energy is what made me have a little bit of hope and that little wanting to come back to school. He said, don't worry, you're going to be on academic probation, but it's going to be okay because after the semester, you're going to get all A's and you can get off of it. And he was right. He was absolutely right. First semester ever that I've gone to college since '98, got all A's, got off academic probation. start going to more classes, getting honor roll, dean's list, getting involved with the clubs, and now I'm the ASG president of Oxnard College. I would never have thought that the person that I am today, who is confident, who loves herself, even with these missing teeth, because due to my addiction, I support myself, I support others, I encourage others, people encourage me. I have a partner who is my equal. I've never been told I was somebody's equal till I met my partner. And he happens to be my prom date. He is an amazing person. He has been able to take care of me and my kids, as well as his kids. And he's shown my kids what it is to be in a healthy relationship with the person that you love. I'm in Oxnard College. I'm about to graduate. May 20th is my graduation ceremony, right? The other day I was sitting and I was looking at the wall and I was just like, man, all those years that I've gone through, domestic violence, my addiction, the put downs, not feeling good about myself, having no type of confidence, believing that I was everything but who I am today to where I'm at today is amazing. All this good stuff that I've gotten since 2018, by being a college student and being in a healthy relationship, outbeats all that stuff and all those years of all that negativity that I went through. I am grateful that I have the tools that Dee Dee Hirsch gave me. I am grateful that I have new tools that I've learned here at Oxnard College. My past does not define who I am today. And that's why I like to share my story, because I know there's other people in my shoes today. But you don't have to be. You don't have to be. Because I didn't let myself stay in that deep, deep down hell of dirt. There's this quote that I like. I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. I couldn't accept people disrespected me anymore, but I had to start within me. So when I learned how to like me, when to learn how to respect me, that's when other people learn how to respect me and love me. Right? My kids love and admire their mother. They're able to tell me, Mom, when you were gone, you hurt me, and this is what happened to me. And I apologize to them for not being the woman that I am today then. I let my kids tell me what they went through, and it was hard. But that was their reality. Just like my reality, they were living in it. My reality now is helping people, getting in life, being the ASG president at Oxnard College, being the vice president of Sigma Kappa Delta English Honor Society, graduating with multiple degrees, not just one, multiple, and being accepted to a UC. This person right here, who was a drug addict, who was homeless, who used to cut, who used to be involved in domestic violence marriage, was able to do all of that. And it's just my beginning. I'm just starting. My support group is bigger than any army in this world, from different walks of life. and it's just my beginning. Thank you for letting me share.